Good evening everyone, my name's Jess and I'm a tutor at Coney Kids. Welcome to episode 11. This is also our final episode for this season. In today's episode, we'll be continuing our discussion on lists by showing you how to use them in Scratch. Before we get into that though, let's quickly take a minute or two to recap what lists are. Remember how we talked about variables? Well, variables are like containers that store information. However, they can only store one piece of information at a time. Lists, on the other hand, can store multiple pieces of information. If a variable is a container, then the list is like a pillbox. Let's talk about the way information is stored in a list. Let's think about a pillbox. Most of them are a series of small cubes joined together horizontally, right? Well, lists look much the same. The information is stored in a horizontal manner, with the first item in the list being the leftmost option, like Sunday or Monday, and the last item in the list being the rightmost option, like Friday or Saturday. In Scratch, lists don't have rows. Each item in the list can be referred to by its index. So the first item in the list is located at index 1, the second item in the list located at index 2, and so on. Now let's move on to how to use lists in a program. Just like with variables, you can create a list in the data category in the scripts tab. Once you've created a list in your project, a bunch of list-related blocks will appear. Let's quickly run through some of the categories of blocks. You can perform actions on your list. This includes adding, deleting, replacing, or inserting items into your list, showing or hiding your list on the stage. You have blocks that store information about your list. The item X of list name block stores the value of the item located at index X. The length of example block stores the number of items you have in your list. You also have a single Boolean block, which checks to see if your list contains some piece of specified information. Last week, we talked about a program that we would implement using lists. To refresh your memory, this program will create a list and it will then generate 5 random numbers to store within that list. As you can see, we used the add to block and the pick random block to generate and add numbers to the list. The program also checks to see if the number 19 appears anywhere in the list. If 19 does appear, Scratchcat will say, number 19 is in the list. If 19 does not appear, Scratchcat will say, today's not my lucky day. An if-then block uses a Boolean statement to control whether or not the block should execute. If the statement is true, the instructions within the block will execute, and if it's not true, there will be no action. However, in this program, we want Scratchcat to say something when the Boolean statement is true and not true. This is when we use an if, then, else block. As you can see, this block tells Scratchcat to say, number 19 is in the list. If the statement is true, and today is not my lucky day, if the statement is not true. This code is inside a repeat block, as I'm sure you've noticed. This will save us having to copy and paste the same code 5 times, as this block tells the program to automatically repeat the instructions inside it the number of times we specify. The last block I need to mention is a delete block. This block will execute whenever it's reached in the program, so in this case, because it comes directly after the when flag clicked block, the data stored in the list will be cleared whenever we press the green flag. In other words, whenever we encounter this block, any information we have previously generated will be removed. Well, that's all we have time for today. This episode is also the last video in this season. We don't have a definite time frame for you, but we'll be back in a few weeks. If you have any suggestions on how we can improve this series or what you'd like to see more of, then please let us know in the comments below. As much as we love Scratch, we'd love to bring you more content outside of it, so please do let us know if there's anything you'd like to see from us. See you next time.